Hey, Fitzy here, back at it again with another one. On this one, more patchwork we're getting on to go with this one. We got the fenders to do, the hood to do. We got a weld piece in the middle of the hood. And we got started on this door. I turned around and used the doors from the Crown Vic, the skin off it, to make the bottom of the door for the F100. Stick around. A new week, and it's time to get back at this. The weekend I was out gathering some parts for a project. I've been hunting around locally looking for some stuff, and our local bump side expert, he has a pile of trucks. I'm still trying to work on him, getting some more parts off him. He's holding off on me, but hopefully he'll come through for me. But this is what I got off him so far. I got a front bumper, set of hood hinges, a set of inner door panels, and I also got a back glass right here. Got that wrapped up in some door handles. And another one of my Ford friends give me a set of these top hands. I got the embossment on it, powered by Ford. I have an idea to do with them. I saw a post on Facebook. I thought it was a cool idea. I won't get into that now, but this will be in the future videos. For now, I got to get all the fabrication work done. That'll all rust repair, I should say, done on this. But before I get into that, the garage is a mess here. I got piles swept all over the place here, and I just got to get the garage cleaned up, get this stuff put away, and then we can get started on this. For some reason, this always gets dirty. I don't know why. I'll clean this too. Let's see how long that stays like that. It is time to get back on the VIC100. Now, in the last video, we basically finished off the cab and we bolted all the front on, checked for alignment, cut up the rad support, made sure everything was fitting right, and that when we goes to put it together, everything is going to fit. I'm happy where everything is to. Now it's time to start doing all the repairs on all the panels that I bolted on. There's a few things there were that I wanted to talk about first. One of the things was someone asked me about the door alignment. They talked about how I line up the striker. Now with these strikers, this here loosens up and you can move this around in all different locations. The trick with it is to put it in a perfect spot where you want it to be. It's got to be in far enough that the door goes flush to here, and it's got to be at the right height so it doesn't lift the door up or drop the door, okay? Now over here, you can see the way the latch works here. This is all I ever done with these here is, can you do that to that one? There you go. You see the way that latch is there. All right, so that's all I'll do is I'll latch it. That got a line up there in the middle there. When you're adjusting the striker on the inside, you constantly close the door, and then you open the door, and you close the door, and you open the door, and you don't know what's going on. Impress the latch so the door does not catch, and then push in on the door manually. You can actually feel the door coming up or going down, or if it needs to go in farther. That's all I do is to line them up. I don't bother with, I wanted to get it so it moves like that first, and then the door will close fine. So that's all you do is, like, if you go over here and you're pressing on this and you feel the door lifting up, lower the striker. If you're doing this thing here and you feel the door pulling down, raise up the striker. Then once you get this figured out, you push in and you realize the door's not going in far enough, move the striker in. And then when you're all said and done and you get it where you want it, just close it like so. Hope that little tip or that technique was helpful. That's how I do it. A lot of guys do it different than me. Like I said, I always align my doors with the striker off. I don't like any interference from the striker. The striker will move the entire door. It'll actually change gaps and everything. So I always line my doors up without the striker, and then I put my striker on and line it up accordingly. Now, one of the big questions that a lot of people are asking me about is headroom. What's this going to be like for me to fit in here if I put a seat in here? Now, I want to take the dash out of this and possibly the steering column out of the way, because I want to do body work on this here and body work on that here, because I may pick at some of that just to get away from the metal work from time to time, just because it got to be done. I like to get it so that the interior of this truck is finished. So when I bolt it all together, I haven't got to get in here and try to fool around or anything. I might even go to the point of painting all inside the cab and have that done, so I don't have to worry about it in the future, having to haul all the interior out of it, or, you know, even get it ready. I got door panels for it now, and, you know, all I got to do is mount seat belts in it and put a seat in it, and then I can put it all back together again. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to go upstairs. I have a square body Chev truck seat. It's a bench seat. I'll explain to you now when I get it down what I'm looking for in a seat and why. So I'll go get the seat here now. So here's that lovely square body seat. People are saying, why a square body seat? Why didn't you just get the original seat belonging to the Ford? Listen, this is a piece together truck. I had this from a previous project. I was going to build a Chev truck, and this came with part of the deal, and I kept it upstairs. It was too much trouble to haul it down. I'm glad I hung on to it, and I'm only using the square body Chev seat because that's all I have. I got this, and I got a seat out of a 52 Chev. So you decide. I'm on to see if I can make this work. I'll work with this seat, but this will tell me if I got to go buy seats or put buckets in it or something like that. But the reasoning for it, I'll show you now when I get it bolted up. I'm going to take the runners off it for now, because they're going to be right in the way. I'll get them out of my way there, and I'll lay them aside. I like to have to keep them on them, so that way if Wendy decides to drive the truck, we can move the seat ahead, and she'll be able to use it. This also got telescopic pedals in it, the Crown Vic do, so they can move back and forth. I'd like to have it so she can drive the truck. It'd be good, right? So I'm going to go ahead, get this stripped off, and get the column in place. So here's what I got. This is what I'm talking about. This is the bench seat out of a square body Chev. From what I can make of it, I'm going to say the Fords are possibly wider, but I think this seat would be fine. I've played around with it, It is sitting a bit high still, but I'm thinking about leaving everything alone there. I got it on like 6x6 blocks here to raise it up. You can see the height of it there, just so I can get it to sit level on the angle that I want it on. I could probably lower it maybe an inch more than it is, but I played around with it there, sized it all up, and like it's not above the window, it's below the window. Now here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. When you're an average height person, all you think about is cool seats. When you're a tall guy with long legs, the problem you got in these trucks, in any old truck, and this is the reason why I've always loved 30s trucks, and I was going to buy one a number of years ago, and I went out and sat in it, and I can't fit in it. I can fit in it, but it's not comfortable. You got to be able, like I sits in everything now, and it says, can I drive this to the mainland? And it's either yes or no when I sit behind the wheel of it. And I'm here now playing around with this here. And one of the things you're going to find that if I was to put bucket seats in this, or a modern seat, is thicker here. Okay? The back of the seat is thick. This is only maybe 3 inches thick. But like a modern pickup truck seat is probably about 5 to 6 inches thick. And then you got a bucket seat where your back of your seat is only this high. What ends up happening if you have a bucket seat is that much higher. Now, the top of the seat has got to rest against the glass. So the entire bottom of the seat has to move forward. So this section of the seat moves forward. So you lose leg room. This is why I want to run with a bench seat. I've always liked these square body seats. Now, it would have been nice to have something with an armrest in it. But these seats here were always comfortable in the trucks that I've had. So I just played around with it there now and got a position where it's to. I'm going to show you what it looks like with me sat in it. So here I am sat in the truck. Lots of leg room. I can stretch my legs out, look, and almost lock my knees. This is the thing about the Crown Vic. The Crown Vic pedal box is farther forward than the F100 is. The F100 pedal box would have ended about right here. This one here, I can stretch my legs out. My foot on the brake pedal, put put on the gas pedal. It's very comfortable here in this position. I would like to be lower in the truck, but the only issue with this, you always got to have the wheel tilted up because the steering wheel is really bad here. And this is tilted all the way up, but I don't mind that, which is good to have. That's a nice comfortable ride position. Sat there, it's comfortable. I got lots of headroom. I got about that much room above my head, all around me. Just sat nice and high. But like you got the knee room here, it's a bit tight on this side over here. My knees don't touch nothing. It taps off the steering wheel, but they always do in almost anything I sit in. The key and whatever. It taps off of that. It barely touches it. But I look at the whole point of where my foot is to right now on the gas pedal. I feel no strain in my leg. Most times when I'm sat in the rig, I got my leg right back. And it's very annoying. This thing here is very comfortable right where I have it here now. I was thinking about having the seats really low in this, but I got good lumbar support here. And I'm pleased with it, very pleased with it. I got lots of leg room for the pedals, for driving. What more can you ask for? What more can you ask for? A lot of people were concerned about me fitting in this, so this is what it's like when I sit in a Crown Vic swap F100. I never noticed this truck when I had this seat when I had it upstairs. But now that I got it down here, I look at it, the seat is gray, same color as the dash. The only problem I got is I got a few tears in the seats down here, but I got to fix for that. A lot of places you see guys doing hot rods up and they doing the Mexican blanket thing. Here in Newfoundland, we had a tradition when it came to seat covers. Plaid. I always got to be plaid. This is the one. This is in my daily driver. I went out and hauled it out and brought it in here. I've always had a blanket or something just laid on the seat of a rig like that. We've always did it, and that's what I'll do with this thing. So the interior is figured out in this now. Floor mats are done. I got door panels. Just got to paint them. All the dash is done. I just got to mount sun visors, seat belts, and the interior is done. I just got to make up some sort of mechanisms now to bolt that seat down. I'm going to try to reuse the original Crown Vic mounting points and modify, where are they to? What do I do with them over here? Modify the original mounts onto the square body shave and have it so that the seat can move forward, because if I can get the seat to move forward, Wendy will be able to drive this, then you can just pull the seat ahead and she can go on with it. So that won't be an issue. But yeah, that's another problem solved. So I'm moving forward with this now. I got all the interior figured out pretty well. Yeah, that's pretty well it for that. Now I can move back into some rust repair. Boo! What I'm going to do here, now I got the hood in place. The hood is ready to go. I got to take it off to start letting go everything else. But what I'm going to do here first, I'm going to do the repairs on this hood. I'm planning on welding this stuff up. I got a couple of holes here. I'll weld up the holes here. Not worried about dents or nothing in this right now. I'm going to clean up this belt line along here. See what I got. Something tells me there's a lot of filler in there, but I'm going to clean that up along there. Might be a hole or something in here. And then there's this one, which I don't understand why that rusted out like that. Unless someone had some crazy hood ornament or something on it. Looks like there was one on it, because I think there's holes right here. There's filler right there, so I think there's probably a hole right here for that. But I'll clean this up and figure that out. And I'll weld up all these holes here. Look, the D wasn't even straight. There's the R and the O and the F. Yeah, all that was right. But the D wasn't straight on the truck, though. Original. But yeah, I got a hole here. I'm going to weld these up because I'm not putting none of them badgings on it. I might put a script here. I don't know yet. I showed you them top pans there earlier. They got powered by Ford. I saw a guy on Facebook. He got a white Ford pickup truck. I'll post pictures of the truck here and his name. I can't remember it right now. I'm bad for names. But I saw what he had done, and he just took a set of top pan sections and cut it out and grafted it in here. I thought it was pretty cool. It had powered by Ford brought on it. Because a lot of fellas know me for Chevy swapping everything I had. So I think it'd be cool to, let them know that, hey, calm down, this is powered by Ford. Because if I pull this in anywhere, this first thing they're going to say, wasn't that an LS? Because that's what they'll say to me. But yeah, the seat is all figured out. Just got to mount it and everything now. So I got a seat. I got my fancy seat covers. Let's get back to welding. Well, you saw me there. I went and knocked off all the edges with the 24 grinding disc and got most of it off it. Then I went over it with the zip blade and just scraped over the top of it to get the heavies off. I'm not getting carried away with this. You can sandblast this if you want. Of course, as a hood, you're going to make a mess of it. And to see this in the middle of a hood, in the front of a hood, is wild. Like, this is all gone here, but all these seams here are all good. All that's good there. I can't make no sense of it. Okay? You know, you got a small spot there, and a small spot there. And then another spot there, another hole there. I'm going to have to put a hole big on that, another one there. You can see all the blisters and everything the way that is. I'm going to put some rust converter on that and call it good. Back here on the back of the hood, they must have dropped the hood because both sides are damaged right here. And you can see they repaired it or something, so I got to clean this off. But the way I got it positioned here now, I'm going to do all the stuff up there that's easy to get at while it's there, and then I'll take the hood off, do the rest of it. I'm just doing this here now because it's in a good position here to work on it. And I can get all this stuff here all welded up. We're going to eliminate all that. And a lot of this stuff here, you see these little blisters, I'll probably run a weld in them. They'll burn all the rust out of them. And I'll probably weld up a scattered few of them, won't get carried away with it. Over here, we got this corner's bad here. Don't seem like it's gone down around the corner though. Only seems to the lip. Right there. And of course, this back section here is damaged. But that is minor. I'll repair that now when I turns it around. I'll set it up. But I'm going to go ahead now and start welding up all this other stuff here. Anything I can just weld up, that's what I'm going to weld up first. And I'll come back then and work on putting a piece in here. Probably 3, maybe 4 pieces got to be put in this hood. That's strange, considering I got almost 100 into that cab. Alright, let's get welding. Look! I'm here now just going around cleaning up everything, and I figured I'd dab the top of the heavy rust blisters. By right, you should cut all that out and weld in a whole new piece. But guess what? Tony's not doing it. I'm going to weld all them up there now. I drilled out any rust holes I thought I might be able to weld up. We'll see how it goes now. See what I can get welded up here. Don't that look lovely? You saw me there going in and welding something and then going off again and coming back to it. I got a spot there I missed. Especially this one up here. That was a dandy one, right? But what I'm doing is, I'll show you over here. I find when the metal gets really hot, it gets hard to work with. All I'm doing is I will go right around the hole. And I'll weld around the hole. Once it gets welded around the hole, I'll leave it alone, let it cool down. Then I'll come back and start working my way towards the middle of it. The problem with it is, if you keep blowing heat in this and try to weld it all up at once, you're going to warp everything up, but you're just chasing it. And it's too hot, and you're just going to melt whatever's already there. Over here now, I started to weld it up, and I give up on it because this is too bad. I'm going to cut this out with a piece in there. Yeah. That's basically what I done. And again, I've said it before, if the metal was too bad, you wouldn't be able to weld it. Okay, like this here is bad. Like this should have been blasted or something done with it. I'm not getting into it because of this truck. I just want to get rid of the holes. So I'm welding up all the holes in this now and get this grinded up and get it done. So all I'll be left is I got a patch here to do, and I think I'm gonna have to put a patch in there because I don't think I'm gonna be able to save that. I might as well just cut that out of it and put a piece in there. I'll weld that up and I'll weld that up. I'll get them few welded up there now, and then I'll get this grinded up. So I got all them done. That don't look half bad there now. Got all them welded up there, and like when you strikes the welder off it, If it's weak and there's going to be a hole there, the welder will find it. So that's all solid there now. And I come up here then and start experimenting with welding up here. Start welding up some blisters. Figured I'd warp the dead out of the hood, but seems to be pretty good. Over here I had a few. I figured I'd tap with the welder. And I come up here. I'm trying to stay away from, must weld right along this edge. Try to give some strength to the actual patch from up along here. And so I figured I'd just weld that up there. It was a bit tricky. So I don't know how good it's going to be able to weld it when I cut this off through here. And then weld the patch in there like that. Because that's all I'm doing, weld the patch in there. And I'm going to try to bolt that in there. Have fun with that. Welding on a hood of a rig, so. Yeah, nice big black flat panel. That's minor, sure. But yeah, I'm going to grind them up there now, get all that ready and start sizing up, making the patches. I got to put 1, 2, and there's a third patch over here. Right there. I put 3 patches in there. And that will be the front of the hood will be straightened away. And I don't know when I flips it upside down what the bottom lip of this is like. I haven't even looked at it. And then I got to repair these repairs here. But we'll get to them. We'll get them other 3 patches welded in first. So I went ahead and I got all the actual welding and everything that I had up there grinded up and all down here grinded up and along here. And as you can see, I went ahead and cut a piece out of there. I come over here and cut the section out of there. And I come over here and I cut a section out of there. What I got done here now, I got the pieces that I cut out and I'm going to use them as templates. Because I'm going to butt weld all them pieces in there. It's a lot easier for filling on the hood. I don't know what it's going to do for warpage, but we're going to find out, anyway. Let's have a bit of fun with this. So I got a piece of metal for that one, piece of metal for that one, and a piece of metal for that one. That one's going to be interesting, I can tell you that. That's the one on top of the hood. So I'll get 2 of these done first, get them installed, and judge accordingly. So I'm going to go ahead down. All I'm going to do is I'm going to lay that in the corner there like that, give myself a little bit of room on either side. Mark it down here, mark it down here, cut it off, clean it all up, and then I can go over and I'll take a magnet and stick onto that and fit it in place and weld it in. So the first one, I cut it, I marked it out on it, and I cut the piece out of it. I went and marked the top, which is the top up here, and the side that I wants to do, because it's not worse when you flip this over and you're trying to fit it in like this. At least now I know this is the top and the outside. I'm just going to take a magnet, come over here with this, fit that in place, and weld it in. Now I got it fit in place, and I got a tack weld in place. It's still nice and warm there. I'm going to let it cool off there. I welded it solid along the bottom because it's right on the edge. Then I tack welded about every ½ inch. I'm going to leave this one now, go over on the other side, and make the patch, and put the other patch in place, tack weld it in place. By then, this should be cooled down. I can do some more welding on it. that was a tricky one. Just took my time, piecing it in there. This here also got a curvature on it this way, and I just wanted to work it. Now, when you're putting pieces in like this, always keep an eye on it. Make sure wherever you're welding, it's flush, but everywhere else, it's above the metal. Make sure that nothing's below it. It'll be very hard to pull it back. I like trying to have the panel so it's a little bit high all the way around, and then I can work up my way down. I bring it down, bring this piece of metal down to the height of the panel, instead of trying to have this too low and then try to bring it up, because you don't want to disturb this here from where it's to, because it's just relaxed in its factory location. So that's just one quick little tip, is just to make sure that when you're welding it, like when I came down here, start welding this section here, all this entire side here was all high, and all this down here was high. And that's the way I wanted it. So now I worked it across here, and I felt down here, and about right here it was still high, and then all the front was still high. So then I came over here and started working my way this way, and I brought it all curvature to that way there. So I got that welded in. I got the other two tack welded in. I just got to take my time now and start welding them all in. I'll just weld a bit like I did, showed you on the other side, and leave it alone, let it cool. And then I'll just jump from one patch to the other patch, just move around. These patches are too small to actually try to weld like too much of them, because, like, you know, I always say weld an inch, skip an inch, right? But the problem with this is the distance from here to here is about an inch, the distance from here to here is an inch, and the distance from here to here is an inch. And just like the whole area is just going to get heat. So I'll just come up and come down one side of it a little bit at a time and let it cool off. I'm not fussy on putting cold air on panels like this here, because I've got a tendency to shrink it. And that's why I just like to let it go natural. Like all that there feels pretty good still. And I'll just come over and do some more tacking on it. It'll be a while here. So once I get these all welded up, I'll bring it back. Now, there's nothing ever pretty about the welding. I just took my time welding it, make sure it was all nice and cool. I won't know how straight it is. It feels pretty decent there. I don't feel nothing not jumping out at me. This one over here, I expect this one here to be a mess, but I expect it to be low or something, I don't know, because this is all damaged up along here anyway. Like if you get this in the light here, you can see there's damage up here in the hood itself, up along here. So something tells me this was all damaged, and what ended up happening is wherever it was parked, water pooled right here underneath the filler, and like it cracked or something, and the fill up with water probably froze or something and cracked the filler, and then it just stayed there, whatever angle this was parked on, and the water just sat right here. That's what I think's happened to it anyway, because it's a very unusual spot to rust. Over here, same thing. This one over here come up pretty good. Right. I'm gonna go ahead, grind them up, see what kind of a mess I got made. I'll bring you back when they're all grinded up. There's that one all welded in. I don't know how good it is. Yeah, you can see it's in a small bit, but that's fine. Gotta fill it anyway. That's perfect for that. In the lawn there. All this has been filled on. And this truck, I'd say, was done when it was done in the late 80s, early 90s. A lot of stuff was skimmed from top to bottom. Everywhere I strikes this, I'm running the filler. And I don't want to go stripping the truck, because I know for a fact it was done the way it used to be done. They used to skim the vehicles. It's nuts what they used to do back in the day. But everywhere he looks, there's filler pretty well on the truck. So I'm going to just feather edge it back and fill it again. This one out here come out way better than I expected. All this up here was wrinkly and everything, where it was all rusty and whatever. But all this down here, this come out really good. It's nice and solid there now. And back here you can see now, looking at that there is a bit of a high spot there, but then you come look across it, you can see the light underneath it, but that's normal. I don't mind that. Very little. This here got dents and that on it and everything. I was so frightened that was going to cave in and haul it all down out here. But all out here, that's all of this kind. It's a bit low there, but I can live with that. And of course, there's the other one over here. That one come out. That one there, more or less on that one there, I'm feeling more filler than anything else on that one. And you put your thing over that there. Hard to see there with the light. There we go. It's hard to see, but I can feel this filler right here, right? That's high, and then when I run my hand over, it feels low, but this is all high right here with the filler. So I'm not going to get into it. That's perfect. So now we got all this done. This is the worst parts on the hood. I got to move the hood now and straighten this up and weld this up, and then have a look at the lips on the bottom side here and see what it's like on the back side. So first thing I'm going to do here now is clean up along here. I got this spot here as a high spot. I'm going to split it with the grinder, with the cut wheel, tap it down, get it, and just re-weld it again. Clean it up along here with the grinder. Same with over here. I don't think there's much high there. It's just got to be welded up, and I'm just going to weld it up. So I'm going to go ahead, get all that done, and get this side done. Then I'll flip it up on the side and check this side. I'll check the other side. I'll check the front and see if I got any work to do. So I'm going to see if I can get this hood all glued up here now. Well, I can tell you, I was into it. She had a lot, whoever done the body work, whenever the body work was on this before, a lot of it was grinded and the edges were weak. All along here, that's all welded up along there. That was all like wore through. There was little pinholes here and there. And it's just very unusual. She had the lip gone on her there, on the back edge. Had to make that again. Then bottom sections I'll show you in a minute. I ended up just blocking them with welds and then shaping the welds. I banged out the dents in the middle there. I had to lay it on the floor. It's very awkward to work with. It's a two-man operation work with this hood. Right. But I got it done. That's the main thing. The hood is finished in terms of fabrication work. All that needs now is body work. This is it. That's all I did there. Was I just welded up this entire edge here, down through here. All this is welding, and over here, and just grind shaped it. I split this one through here because this was the bad one, and I straightened it up and flattened out this edge here, and then I just basically just made it all out of welding. So there was a lot of damage and everything there, and I just wanted to make it strong enough that when I go to fill it, it's not going to crack again. And I did the same thing over here. Made it all up out of welding, down through here, down through there. This tells you how much welding is there. That's not a pinhole. That's the actual welding. All this whole lip edge here, that's all welding. I went right on through and welded to the inside brace just to give it some strength. It was very weak all there. It was all worked too hard. And, you know, by rights, you should have just cut it all out and put a whole new piece in there, but not on this truck. Yep. But that's it for that. The hood is done. Time to move on to the fenders now. The fenders should be fine. Just give them a clean up and the patches on the bottom, hopefully. And we'll see. Anyway, it's been a long night. I'll get at them tomorrow. Finally, a bit of sunshine. Anyway, new day, new projects. My plan is for today, I'm going to haul both fenders off of this now, and I'm going to clean them up and get them ready. I got to do, from what I make of it, I only got to do a patch right here on both fenders. The rest of the fenders are perfect. So hopefully it shouldn't take me too long to get that done. So I'm just going to haul the fenders off and clean up all the rust and everything on them, get all these ready so we can start welding some patches up. So I went ahead and I got everything, the head knocked off, everything grinded down. Everywhere I touches, I'm hitting filler up. I'm not getting into that. Leave all that alone. I'll just dig outwards too and I'll fill right over it again. Up here, no holes in the lips anywhere. A few pinholes or heavy blisters. Not going to worry about them. I may have to end up cutting most of this off anyway. Someone been talking to me, or a lot of people have been asking me about tire clearances on this. Over here you can see. Now, this got no motor transmission in, so it's got to come up even higher again. When you turn the tire here is probably going to rub about right here somewhere when you go to turn left or right. Now, this is a common occurrence on these trucks. When they do the Crown Vic swap on them and do all that, there's always an issue with tires rubbing. Depends on how low you mount the body. If you raise it right up, you can probably get away with it and make it look stock appearing. But when you start lowering it down, you're going to start running into issues because of the track width on the Crown Vic is so wide that when you go to turn the wheel, you're going to rub the tire here. Now, I might just massage this back for now and see how far I can actually turn the wheel before it starts to rub, and then I'll be concerned with that. My other option that I got in my head, I don't want to be at this year right now, is that I'm going to arch these here. Okay, I'm going to arch these here this way here, and then clean all this up here and just basically put a full arch on the wheel like that. Similar to the way like you see in the old 60 stock cars, that type of thing. But I want to change the wheel, then I want to put a wider wheel on something that comes out outside the tire. I don't want to just do it now for tire clearances because it looks stupid with the tire inside of it. I think I should be fine for the year to leave these like they are and just roll the lip on them. Over here we got the lip on the fender. What I might end up doing is right here, I might end up rolling all this lip down, pretty well almost flattening it right out. Just leave all this alone here, but where the turn is to here and the turn is here, I might just take this entire section here and roll it all flat, or roll it down so it's this height here, because it is a bit high and I don't want this here hooking on my fenders. I'd soon roll this over so that if it do rub, it's just going to be the tire rubbing on this type of metal, like on an edge like this here. I wouldn't mind that. I don't want a tire rubbing on this here or rubbing on this here, because it'll hook it and it'll actually damage the tire or damage the fender, one or the other. So I'll probably end up doing that for the year. But for now, I'm not concerned about it. I'm just concerned about getting all the patches done up. But someone was asking me about the issues with these. It is a common occurrence with these builds. It's like fellas don't talk about it because they just accept it. Like when you're driving down the road, going in and out traffic, everything is fine. But when you're turning 90 degrees into a parking lot, the tire may rub. And if you can put up with that, there's no big issue. So I'm here now and I got everything cleaned up and I got this spot ready to go. I'm going to cut it off here, come up over this edge here, across here. I'm going to butt weld down along here and come right off the end here and replace all this section down here. Just for the simple fact that I know when I get into trying to weld this down here, it's just going to be a nightmare. And then I'll come up here. So I'll make an entire patch panel to go right over top of this here. So I'm going to dig out some metal now, take some measurements and cut a piece out for that and start bending it up. This old hood is after giving up some pieces. Well, there's the piece I'm going to cut out. I'll be able to get another one out of that there. For the other side now, I'll just cut it this way. But cut that out now and get this all white cleaned up and get shaped up. So I got the piece all cut out. It's too big all the way around. I'm going to start from the bottom down here now. I'm going to measure up to this bend here and roll it. Put a bit of a bend in it here. It's got to be a really soft roll. It can't be too tight. So I'll use my old brake for that, and I just won't tighten it down. I'll roll it in that. So I'll measure up from here to here, and I'll do the same thing here and start here and just have it so I haven't got to trim nothing off on the bottom side. I'll just cut this out of the way and use this piece here. I'll probably make it a little tiny bit longer so I can trim it off after the fact. That's what I end up doing. And so I'll start here and I'll make this bend here and get it fitting there first. So I marked the back side of it. There's the height I needed there. I was going to try to put a soft roll in it, but I'm afraid it's all going to move. I'm just going to put a bend in it and then I'm going to soften up the roll. See, it's a pretty sharp bend there now. I'll go over with the T-dolly and roll over that edge here so I can actually get it to fit nicer on the bottom of the fender. Didn't take long for the bench to get messed up, did it? What I got done here, I got a piece of pipe. I've been looking at the roundness that I need, and I'm going to take this here now and just use this here to round up the edge of that there. It's pretty good there now. I gotta roll this over, so I'm just gonna do it by hand. It's only 22 gauge, so I should be able to just roll it. Put a nice roll on it. I'm here playing around with here now, and I'm noticing that there's some interference here. I'm gonna take the grinder to cut this section out of it because it's pretty high here, and now I get clear of that. I gave it a quick rub over with the grinder to get all the heavies off it. I'll clean it up better than that later on. I clamped that in place there now. He's a bit of a roll still. There we go. Yeah, mint. I'll mark this on the top side here now. I gotta trim some of this off because I'm not going right into the dip. I just want to cover up this here. I'll take it back to here somewhere and just clean it all up. And put probably an inch lip or something on it. So I'll mark it where the lip is to and then cut off the rest of it. So all I did is I went over and I cut off 1 inch off it. Then I bent it over in the brake the same way I done this one here and then hammered out the actual rolled edge. And I got it fitting pretty good there now. Debating on how much of this I'm going to put in there. I don't think I'm going to put all of this in there. I might come up over here, come down, and come across here. Keep it below the belt line here. I just want to get rid of this section here. I know this is going to be thin right in this section here. But I don't see the justification of putting all this in it. I don't know. It'd be a lot easier just come straight down there and I just got that one seam and fill that up there. Yeah, no, hang on, leave it alone. I'm going to cut it off shorter now, mind you, that'd probably be better. And I'll just cut in along here, and then I'll do a butt down through here, and a lap joint up here, and a lap joint down through here, and a few spot welds here. I'm not getting into doing a cutting butt on this, I can guarantee you that. Yeah, you can see, I went and laid the panel in place, trimmed it up, and I got it laid in place here. I got it drawn right out to the edge here, and I put a marker all the way down this side here, up along the top, and down this side here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to come back here, probably about 1/4 of an inch, cut this off here, 1/4 of an inch, cut this off here. But over here, I'm going to cut it right on the black line, so that way I can get a nice butt weld into that there. Clean all this up. I got 2 spot welds down here, got to be cleaned off. And then I'll cut all this out of the way, clean all this up. I want it to butt weld down along here, down through here. But then it's just going to be a lap joint up here, and a lap joint down through here. So I'm here now, and I got everything trimmed up. I got it trimmed up right back to here. This is still the original lip on the end of it. And then I got, you can see it over here in spots because I cleaned it up with there's some rust there, but you can see the marker, and I got a section of it left here. But up here in this corner, I actually laid it in place and scribed it because I wanted to actually be butt welded right in this section right here. Now you can go with it and butt weld it all, but I'm going old school on this one here. This is how I used to dress my metal panels years ago. These edges is what's crucial right here, okay? I'm getting this here to look right. So it's a lot harder to actually, like years ago, you just do cut and fit. I never had to cut and butt figured out. And then trying to fit this here and float it all in, it was a nightmare. It was always best just to leave a little bit of a ledge there all the way down through all that there and just let it overlap. But when you come to your outer edges out here, I used to do a cut to fit. So all this here, this edge here does not change. This looks like the factory edge over here, and you got the body line up here. Up in this corner here, I cut it. I don't like leaving like overlap panels. I don't like leaving that actual corner on them. It always ends up that spot is always trouble to fill. So I like rounding off them edges there and just rolling around that there. It doesn't bother me when it comes to filler work because this here can be blended up into this edge here and you can get away with it. Same with down here. This can all blend off. What I'll do here next, now I got this here pretty well cleaned up as best as I'm going to do it. This is probably where you would probably treat this, sandblast it, all that type of stuff. I'm not because of the condition of the truck. I'm just going to clean this up a bit more and blast some paint on it and let it dry. I'm probably going to paint the backside. This has already got a protective coating on it, but I'm going to paint it anyway because I cut it out for the actual bolt on the bottom. I had to grind it off. And I'll just put some extra protection in here because this here used to actually fill up with all kinds of dirt and everything. And I got some plug welds that I got to do on the bottom down here, and then that'll be it for the panel. Just a simple little panel, nothing fancy. Okay, get this all painted now. All that is just an old cheap rust paint. Okay, that's all I'm using on that. You probably could have done that with weld through primer or something like that if you wanted to. Again, this is perfect for me. have a simple lapped patch. This is how I done it for years and years and years. You can see up here now I got a nice clean edge along here. I used to always like dressing my edges and making sure everything's nice. Up along here, it's a bit of a you know, transition from an actual butt weld into a lap weld up here. But where this is in a crowned area right here, it's very easy to blend that off here. Up here, now this one here now, you could have split this through here and lowered that down, but I said no, this is the way I would have done it. And like when you hold this here now looking across that, there's the extent of it, what you got running into there now, look. Coming down through there. That's nothing we're talking about. And right there on that edge, when you lay that there, there's what you're up against. So, you know, this here can be blended out. You'd fill this from here right on out and just blend it out, and that'll disappear there all along here. This cornered edge up here, you won't see that because that'll all blend into this section up here and then fold out into that there. So that'll be fine. Main thing is I got a nice door seam here, and down along the bottom here is good, right? So, well, that's one fender completely done. Now I'm just gonna bolt that fender back on it, and I'm gonna repeat the whole process again on the other fender. I'm not gonna bore you with that. I'm just gonna go ahead and get it done. There you have it. Got that fender all bolted back on again. That fender is ready and done. You can see the patchwork. The door seam is what I'm very interested in. All that looks good, but then you come over here, you can actually see just sort of like it's higher here than it is here. I don't mind that, because if you visualize it from here to here, you can actually blend that in through there. But that's just a simple patch. That's how I done it years ago. I was just very meticulous on my edges because I never liked it. If that was an overlap patch all the way down there, the whole edge of the fender would be very thick. So I turn around and, you know, that's the way I started picking and poking and doing all my edges nice. Wasn't concerned about none of this, right? Because I knew filler would take care of it. But while I've got that one bolted on, I took the other fender, cleaned it all up, and done the exact same patch repair here. It's the exact same repair. Everything is done the same way, cleaned it all up, cut it all off, put the piece of angle iron across it. You saw me when I was welding, putting a piece of angle iron and clamping it onto here and clamping it on here. I wanted to keep all this at a level field, okay? A level plane. Because a lot of times when you go welding this stuff in and you just leave it relaxed, this has got a tendency to do this type of thing. So pull it all up in a position and have it all tight when you're welding it. That way when you get it all welded, when you look at it this way here, it looks presentable looking, see? It's nice and straight across there, coming down across that. Looks good. Now, I never showed you on the other fender, but I'll show you on this one. This is what the inside looks like. You can see it there. Just a bit of a lap there. Now, if you wanted to, you can take this down, seam seal this, sand it all down. If you want to weld it there, you can weld it there. But remember, it's in behind there. This is what it looked like if you put it on somewhere where you couldn't get behind it. This is what you'll be finished with, or your finish will be like. It is typically as a typical repair. Okay, don't ever be discouraged by seeing this type of stuff, because you know this is the way it was always done. It's just simple, quick, fast, get it done. One of the advantages of a simple little lap patch is warpage. You can get it welded up a lot faster because your two panels are overlapping, and when they're overlapping on each other, it's kind of hard for them one to pull and one to push against each other, and another reason why I use the angle iron. So when you're welding on top of another panel, it's very hard to actually get warpage on it, because this here is all the same going down through here and in through here. It's all the same because where it's overlapping. Now, if I had to butt weld this here and butt weld this here I want to say would have caved in on me right here, and it wouldn't have mattered anyway, right? But you know, you can take your time, do it, but that's what would happen. But when I goes welding these patches in here, I can weld an inch, skip an inch, weld an inch, skip an inch, weld an inch. We're not talking about spot, spot, spot. When you're doing cotton butt, you got to do one spot, one spot, one spot, one spot. Let it cool down, next spot, like that. Because if you don't, it's going to drop on you. These are just what I call fast patches. So now I got the two front fenders done. It's time to move on to the fun stuff. A lot of you guys have been asking about door bottoms. Let's work on them doors now. Yesterday or last night, I finished up welding up that fender. I'm going to bolt that fender back on it now. I got this fender done. Now it's time to move on to the fun stuff. I got to do repairs on these doors. Up here seems good on this one. Yeah. We got rust here down the bottom right here. We got the mirror holes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a plate behind these as well. I'm going to drill holes in this section here and put a plate in there because these always pull through. I'm putting the same style mirror back on this if I can find them. For some reason, you cannot buy a set of square mirrors for these trucks. The little small chrome square mirrors. I don't want a big pedestal mirror or nothing on it. I don't want to put a round mirror on it. Well, you can buy a set of round mirrors, like for $60 on Amazon. But you can only buy one mirror on Amazon in a square mirror. And I've been trying to source a set of mirrors. So if you know anywhere that got a set of mirrors for like the early Ford pickup trucks, they're just a little small chrome square mirror. And the base is shaped like that there. Let me know in the comment section. But I got to weld that section up there, and down here at the bottom, I got to put a door bottom on it, which is typical of mostly everything I ever goes at. So I want to get started on this now. All I'm going to do here now is I'm just going to take the grinder. I want to keep below the actual body line on this side here, and I cut that off there, clean that up, see what I got to work with. I'm going to put a whole bottom in it. It doesn't seems like it's good over in this end, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to cut it all off, clear it all off, do the repairs on the bottom of the door itself, on the inside first. A lot of people, now here's the thing, a lot of people turn around and when they do door bottoms, the first thing they do is to take the door off and lay it on the bench. I've said it before in my videos, I don't like doing that because it's very hard to get a door bottom looking right, laid on the bench that's going to match the vehicle. The best place to do a door bottom is right there. I can get it all fitting, I can make sure that my seams are nice, the alignment here is good, the in and out section is good. That's the best place for it. Now you can take it off once you get it all glued up and finished up and tidy it all up then. But to me personally, the best place to have them doors to do door bottoms is on the vehicle. Well, I fell into that. Did a bit of filler in that. That's just the way it was. Like this car was done, I'd say late 80s. Or this truck was done in the late 80s. And that was the norm. You want to get something straight? That's what you're done with it. It's towards the end of lacquer primers and pink putties and right when the high solids came into play. And a lot of fellas were just getting the hang of it all. And a lot of guys found that a lot faster to fill a whole panel and block it out than it is to try to fill half a dozen dents and try to get the vehicle straight. That's it. This seems like this probably had a dent or something in here, smashed in, this was caved in. That's what I'm thinking was going on there. Oh, I'm not getting into it. I'm not digging any more of that out. It all still looks good up here. I'm just going to turn around and keep everything from this belt line down. I'm going to cut it off along here now to get this out of the way so I can start working on the inside. You look at these doors and you say, but I don't know why they rust out. Oh my. Get a bit of dirt in the bottom of the door and all that. This is all good along here. There's only that corner got to be replaced on this one. Oh, I got a mean truck. Holy blessed. I'll go get this all cleaned up here now. How many years has that stuff been in there? Look at that. Wow. So I got it cleaned up as best as I'm going to clean it up. Like, you can sit down on sandblast this, chemical treat it, do it all. Again, what this vehicle is. It's a beater. Now, I was sizing up this stuff here that's been done to it. I was looking at it. There's a dent right here. There's a small dent, seems to be right here. So I said, I'll dart that right there with the grinder, and I hit that and I fell into it. So I said, no, leave it alone. I'm thinking that this whole door, because this door is amazingly straight, okay? When you look down it, it's amazingly straight. I don't want to go digging into it. This filler, I think, was put on this truck in the early 90s at the latest, okay? You think about that. That's almost, what is that now? That's over 30 years ago? Yes. Over 30 years ago, that filler was put on, and it's still, it hasn't separated. There's no rust build up on the actual metal. And a lot of people talk about, you know, putting epoxies on it before putting fillers on. It's going to rust and stuff like that. This here filler was applied right over the metal. It was done 40 years ago in Newfoundland. This truck has been parked outside since early 2000s, and it was left out in the weather. Now, this stuff down here, again, is like the factory again. None of it was painted. This was all bare metal. And it rusted, and that was it. The filler work has been there that long. Now, you can get into this and say, I'm going to want that dent taken out of it. So I'm going to take all that filler off of that door and strip all that down, strip down that entire door to fix that one little dent. When it's all said and done, I'm going to end up filling the whole door again. It's a waste of time for me to even dig into this, because what I seized here, it's not bubbling up, it's not rust underneath or nothing like that. It's in good shape. The filler work that was done on this was a good job done on it. It was a fair bit of a put on the truck now, mind you, but that's just the way it was back then. But it's put on decently. I'm going to leave it right where it's at, and I'm going to turn around and put a piece in right below it. Now, everything is good on the door except for this corner here. Now, this corner steps out, goes along here, comes up, steps out, then there's a flat section to it. I'm going to build this in two sections. I'm going to put a piece down a 90 degree here, weld it up along here, just build it out. Then I'm going to put a flat piece over that and weld it on there. I can dress it later on the inside, but I'm not worried about it right now. I'm going to just get an old random piece of steel, not going to make it perfect, let it stick off. I'll cut it all off after and dress it after the fact. It's just that I want to have this plane right here coming along here, coming up here right nice. But the problem with it is, down here in this corner, it's probably a quarter of an inch or more that it has to go in. And I don't want to go building this, like just taking a flat piece of steel and beating it around the corner here. So I'm going to build this out with a piece, and then put another piece over the top of it. Now I went over, as you can see, this is not the perfect piece, but I got it bent up so it fits in there. And I'm going to go ahead and weld it on. Not going to worry about none of this out here. I'll trim all that off after the fact. I just got lots here to hold on to so I can weld it in place. Does that look lovely? I'll take the zip blade now, cut it off, and then I'll shape it with the grinder to get the actual height that I want it out from the actual, so I can actually just run a straight piece off of that. I'll go ahead now and get that all cleaned up. Nothing fancy how I hacked it off. You can look at that. Brutal what I got done there. I'll take the grinder now, the 24, that grinder there, and I'll just start grinding this flush now so I'll get all the angles that I'm after. So I got that all trimmed off. Doesn't look like I used much of it. I only used about a quarter of an inch of that piece of metal. But that's a lot easier to do than trying to weld that little quarter piece of metal in there. But now I got it all brought out so it's all the same plane along here, so I can just run a flat piece. I don't get carried away with it. I'm not worried about how wide it's got to be here, as long as I got more here, as long as I got more here. I got this piece here. I'm more concerned about getting the corner to fit properly and getting it to be flush up here and flush back here. And I'll grind that to fit that there now, and I'll weld that right on there. I'm not going to worry about the shape of it, that it's too long or too wide. I'll get that welded on there first, and then I'll cut it to fit. Nothing fancy about that. I got the height out there. What I'll do is now I'll cut it down here and I'll cut it across there with a straight edge, and wherever they meet in the corner they meet. I'll grind all this flush down here, clean all that up. I'll be able to clean up the back side of it later when I go to take the door off it, but for now, this here is perfect. Got it all trimmed off. I got it left a little bit wide here because when I fold the skin over, it's got to slide over. Well, I don't know if I'm going to fold. I might end up just welding the lip on that one there. But I got that all figured out. Now I can go back now, move on to the next thing now, and actually make the skin to go over that. I've been saving the 2 front door skins just for the 2 doors itself. Now this one here got some rust blisters on the bottom and everything. I'm not going to worry. This bottom section here, it's no rust on the inside. There's a number of blisters all over. I'm going to go up here and cut it off here and start from here and take it from the middle of the door. I could probably use this on something else if I want to. But like I kept it because of this crease if I needed it. I do have the other door skin there for the other side. But I'm going to, and for this side here, because since I'm not going up above the crease, I'm going to just take a strip of it from up here in the middle of the door. So I'm going to take some measurements now and draw out what I need. Took some measurements, and I got 4.5 inches, and it's 41 inches, and that gives me 1 inch on either side on the edge of the door. So the actual door is only this wide here. It's interesting. This is off a 4-door Crown Vic, and the door skin is longer than the actual pickup truck one is. This is the front door. Interesting. Anyway, I get the grinder now, get this all cut out. So I got it cut out. What I'm going to do here now is I'm going to strip all the white paint off the outside of it. Then I'm going to go over in the brake and I'm going to bend probably a 3/8 of an inch lip on the back side here and fold it over. So I got the bottom lip done for the actual skin itself. I cleaned off the piece of metal, then I went over in the brake and I bent it up on a 90. I come over here and I used an old yardstick that I had here, steel one. I tapped it in there, I laid it placed and folded over onto the yardstick. The reason why I do that is you're left with a gap then on the bottom side. It's a lot easier to fit this up on the door and align it up. You haven't got to worry about it because all you got to do is just hammer that flat after the fact and work on your ends. It's kind of, if this was left on a 90, you'd have a hard time holding it up on the door to find out if the seams are right and stuff like that. At least doing this way here now, I can tuck it up on the bottom skin and it'll stay there, and I can work on getting my ends made. Let's go over for a test fit. First initial test fit. As you can see now, I got to put on the lip on the inside, and I had to tap it up over there because it wasn't fitting right. So I had to adjust that. Now you can see I got lots of overhang over here on this side here. I think I'm going to make this side first, and that way I can adjust the actual door seam. Now I noticed that I had a little bit wider on the bottom here than I did on the top. And what I'm going to do is mark this, and I'm going to bend this lip over, cut this corner, and then I'm going to get this the angle that I want it on. And once I get that side fitting there, I can come over here then and start trimming this one. This one over here now is basically a right angle, so I'll just turn around and do that one last, because I can move it side to side and find out if I got to close up the gap over there. So I'll go over here now, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this down through here. What I got down here, mark that down through there, take it off and size it up and see what I'm up against here. And mark this corner here, because I just need to leave a little bit of a lip there, and then go from that. I've closed the door, and I cut that inner lip on the wrong angle, so it's not exactly where I want it. So I got the door closed here now, and the vice grip's removed so the door can close with it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the edge of the fender here and the edge of the fender down here, and draw a line up along here. That'll give me the angle that I want, because I want it to match the fender. So you can see right there now, that's pretty well on the edge of it. I tapped it back so this here would line up here. Then I'll come down here and I'll mark that section there where the fender's to, and I'll mark a line from there all the way up to there, and then I'll cut that off, and I'll just fold that lip over parallel to that. This is all I done. I lined it up with the fender, I put the marker on it, mark it down through there. I'll trim this off, then I'll come back 3/8 of an inch, go parallel to that, fold that over, and see what I come up with. See how close I can get it. First thing I did is I trimmed off the edge of the actual panel that I cut off. Then I flipped it over. I also cut the top edge off here, because this top of the skin here is too long on the top side, so this is below the actual turn. Then I come in here and I marked it in the distance that I want to fold it over, because it's got to be parallel to this here, fold it over. Down here in the bottom corner, this lip went straight on across here. I cut it on an angle, chopped the bottom of it, and cut that there on an angle there. That there angle there and that angle there, when this folds over, this should line up pretty good with that. I'll probably open it up a small bit more there to give me a little bit more room, and trim it up, but that's the reasoning for the cuts like that. Now all I'll do now is I'll take a pair of pliers, I might clamp something onto this and see if I can hammer it over. It's kind of hard on the bench here because, again, it's so easy to make a mess. Right? I'd like to have a corner bench for myself, but that's where my vice is to. I gotta take that off to go out on the end of it. I could probably do it over there, and the hood is in the way. I'll figure something out. Anyway, I'll get this bent over. How many of you were screaming at the camera saying, "Use your voice, Tony, use your voice"? Tap that around there now. But it works. I just clamped it on there, folded over that. So now I can turn around. I got to put a bit of curvature in this, because I noticed the door skin is not flat. So I got to curve it a small bit, and we'll go for a test fit. Buddy, that's not half bad. She needs a bit of a curvature, small bit there. I cut the corner off this up here, up a bit higher, because I had the skin was in the way there. Don't worry about that type of stuff. I like having a little bit of space there. I'll put that all full of welding there to get that. But if you leave the section of the door skin here, you're not going to get this to overlap over the top of this here. You got to cut it so you can actually get it all the way up there. But yeah, I'm pleased with that. Apple on the bottom. I'll come back here now, repeat the same process on the back side here. I'll do the same thing here. I think I'm just going to follow the actual door itself on this one. This one here still got the original section still in it. But I'm going to cut this off up here, and I'm going to go according to this one here and fold it over on that. So I'll mark that there now and trim it up. I think I'll cut the top off of this. I got to cut about this much off top of it. I think I'll go ahead and do that at the same time. So I got it all fit in place there and trimmed off on the top, and like, oof, that. Over here, she's a bit tight in the bottom corner. So I'm going to go over and rework this one here again now. And I'll straighten it up, and I'll tap this corner in some more and fold it over again, because I don't like that gap the way that is there now. I want to have that a little bit wider down here. It's good up here. Down the bottom's a bit narrow. I'll go fix that. That's a lot better. It's a nice seam there now. Don't look that bad this way. Hold on. There we go. That's a good seam there. Door keeps falling past. There's a striker goes on the inside. The door falls in past it. Now up here, what I'm going to have to do is when I mark this, I got to cut this in so far because there's a big strain on this section of the door here where it's overlapping. And I'll come in about an inch or so, and then I'll just do an overlap over here. But I'll have a butt weld here, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. So I'll get a scribe down, scribe that there, and scribe that there, and I can trim that off. Then I can start prepping everything so I can install the actual skin. So I was here prepping everything up, sizing things up, and I've noticed that the panel was in here. When you run a straight edge across, it was in here, and I started thinking about when I start welding this along here, I'm going to heat up all this filler in here. I said it's going to lift, so I said I might as well cut that back. That's back far enough that it's away from the heat source, and that dent was right there, and I could feel it on the back side. All I did is I took a piece of angle iron, laid it there like that, took a pair of C-clamp vice grips, put them in behind it, and just squished on it. Like that, and push the dent out. So the dent is gone. And then I give a little tug on that there now. I got this set up here now, so this is a little tiny bit high in the middle, the way I want it, because I know when I start welding and pushing on this, it's going to want to fall back. But I wanted to have this high instead of having it low, because if it was low, I know when I put the panel on it, it was just going to go lower. So I got that done. All this is ready to go. I'm going to paint all this now and paint inside the panel and then wait for that to dry, and we're going to install this panel. So I got that all painted. I got this all painted. So that's ready to go. I got to wait for that to dry. Now the next thing I got going on here is I got to do some welding up here. Now the problem with welding on the top half of the door, same with this here, I got to weld this up here, is the glass is still in the door. And only for this corner here, I would have left it alone. But I got to weld this corner here. If I put the glass up, it's going to be right next to the glass. I'm going to have to take the glass out. But I got to anyway, because this side here, the actual pedestal section for the actual vent window is missing. You can see it's there. I looked downside of it. Seems like it's all still there, which is a bonus. I'm hoping that I can actually save it all and re-weld it. I got to pop this glass off of this in order to do this proper. So I'm going to go ahead and start stripping apart the door here now while I'm waiting for the paint to dry. I want to take the door glass out of it and haul this vent piece out of it. Now in order to get the glass out, you got to take these out first anyway, because that's the way these work. The glass goes in first, and then the vent window goes in, then you hook up the glass itself. So anyway, I'll get this all hauled apart. So I got that all stripped apart. Everything came off easily. There's no screws or nothing there. A lot of the stuff is pretty good. This was the inner whiskers. I just took that out of the way there. Now the clips and everything are still good on it. I'm just going to give it a clean up and give it a coat of black on it. The actual channel rubber is still in pretty good shape. That's still usable. The rear channel on this side here, this piece is good. It's not bad. I'll put some paint on that just to keep it keep it clean. And this here, I figured this would be a lot more rustier than it was, but it's not. I took these out just so I can actually clean them up and get them painted. Now, a little vent window. Thanks be to God that is still there. I was worried that was going to be gone. That's all seized up. I got to get that all unseized. And I got to take the glass out of it and weld all that, clean up them window vents. Got a couple of screws there I got to take that apart. But even the whiskers and that was all pretty good. So I'm doing pretty good. I don't need to buy none of that. But I got all that there straightened away now. And now I can actually go ahead and get all the stuff welded up on the door. I got a little spot here. And of course, then I got this corner piece here that I got to worry about. And there's an inner structure there, which is interesting. I never noticed that. But I'm just going to replace this corner here and then go on the outside here. And then I'm going to weld up these holes here. I'm going to put a plating system in behind it. And a couple of plug welds and weld it on there. and then I'm going to weld up these holes here. So when I do get mirrors for it, all I'll do is I'll just drill down through it. I'll have lots of material there to actually screw to. So I got it all fit in place there now. I had to do some trimming, some dolly and everything here in the middle to get it to sit nice. I just want this just to rest right easily on the other panel. I didn't want no strain or nothing on it. So I got that done. I'm going to go ahead now and start tack welding this on. I got to get the corners welded up, and then I'll start in the middle and work my way out. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this all tacked in. So I got it all tack welded in place. I went in then and I welded in the corners. And around the corners there, I welded them up. Right there, around the corner. Done the same thing down this end here. I went in and welded every couple of inches. Then I come back and I welded about every half inch or so. And I'm letting it cool off there now, and I'll go back and I'll just continuously on welding that up. I won't be running beads on this. I'm just going to run tacks right along the edges of that there, because I'm afraid it's going to cave in on me here in the middle. And I'll just go ahead and I'll take my time and weld that in. I just let it cool off naturally. I got ahead of myself. I got it all welded up, then I grinded it all off. That's it. I got that done. You can see that there's just an overlap weld on the ends, then it blends off. Right? You can see the gaps there. Back here. This one up here is a little bit wide on the bottom, but I'm going to live with it. A little bit wide. That could be, I can probably just come down here if I want to and run a bit of weld down there and then narrow it up a bit. That's perfect for that. Inside here, I welded up the edge up here. Come down and I welded up the corners. I always like to weld up the corners and rounding out the edge a small bit on the bottom corners. Then I come across here, put a scattered tack weld. I've turned up the welder and just put a real hot bead right on the edge there, just like a spot weld. And then come over here, done the same thing, welded up the corner, welded up the top edge there. And there you have it. That's the complete door skin bottom put on that. All I used was all the leftover metal from the Crown Vic. This here now, a bit of fiberglass on that now. Smear over that and then just fill it. That'd be perfect for that. But that's how I used to build all that stuff years ago. And I was more concerned about my seams looking good up along here, having all that looking good, have a nice edge here. I'll be always concerned about this edge, not having it too thick on this edge here. So when you open up the door, this way and looked at the edge of the door, it didn't look thick. Right there where the two panels. A lot of times fellas used to have these and used to overlap a lot. And this section here used to be very thick, and I never liked that. I always want to have it the same thickness going all down through there on my skins. So that's it for the door bottom. I got that done. That's another project done. Time to go on and see what else got to be done on this door. So what's left on this now, I've had to grind this off. Strangely enough, look, filler. Everything I touch has got filler on it. Wall, and the old high solids, you can see it there, look. The old yellow high solids from back in the day. And then there's some grey primer on it by the looks of it. I say that was like an old lacquer primer back in the day. And I think there's some spots been done on this truck since. But the old high solids, that yellow, you see that everywhere, look. Everywhere you look, you see the yellow high solids. Right? Down here, the yellow high solids. Oh, that stuff was wicked back in the day. Well, I got this all grinded off. It's been damaged up along here. I don't think there's any holes or anything there. I got to check to make sure. See if there's any holes up along there. But what I'm going to do, you can see it's a bit weak there. I'm going to build a plating system that I'm going to put in behind that. I'm going to put a couple of plug welds down through here, weld up these holes here. So when I do get a new mirror, I can just drill 2 holes and I'll have lots of material there to just screw to. Because that's all it's done with these. They're just screwed onto the sheet metal. But there's no strength to this at all. You run some sheet metal screwed onto this, it's just going to let go. And I got this one up here. This is going to be the next one I'm going to do here now. This here is a bit tricky. This has a roll lip on it. You can see it here the way this rolls in around here. And you see me making edges before with a lip on it. But then down here it goes wide down here on the bottom side. And then it goes wider up here. But I'm going to bend over a piece of metal with a little edge on it like this here. And just trim it up. And I'm going to weld it along here. Come across here. And then I'm going to work all this later on. And do a little bit of an overlap down through here. And then come up across here. I'd like to get to this little edge right here looking good. I might do a little cut to fit there and then just do an overlap on the rest of it. And same with down right here as well. And have this line here looking good. So I'm going to go find a piece of metal now that's the right length from here to here. And then bend the lip on the inside edge of it. So here's the piece now. And I got the little roll edge left on it. I'm not worried about nothing outside yet. I'm just going to try to get this the shape that I want it now. So I'm going to go over now and start shaping this the actual shape like the one that's in the truck. You can always manipulate a small bend like that. This is all I done with it. You can see the little rolled edge on it now and the way that comes up around there. That'll fit there now. I'm going to go ahead now and trim that up and get that fitting in place. Out here now, I'm just going to trim this to fit as I need be, and then I'll tap it into shape because this here has to be bent on an angle, so there's a bit of stretching involved in here. But because this comes back, this comes straight out pretty good, and then it rolls off the edge there. But I'm going to try to see if I can weld it right in this edge here, and then come down and come around this edge here like this. And just do a bit of a cut fit right here and right here somewhere, just so that this edge here lines up nice, and then I'll just do a little overlap down along here. Oofta. That's all gone all together. I turned around, I trimmed everything off there. I saved the inner piece that went in here, went up behind there, and went behind there. I'm going to weld that onto the new section that I got there. I cut all this out. But you see me use this grinder a lot. I went and took the pad off it and put an old zip blade on it. And that's what I used to trim this up. It was a lot easier to control it, and instead of having a big old grinder on it. You can have other small grinders, but this thing here has been in my hand. I've had, I don't know, 10 of these now over the last 30 years. And I just work really good with them. I just find them comfortable in my hand because it fits so nice. Anyway. I got that all cleaned up there now. I'm going to go ahead now and take this section here. I'm going to weld that on there because that's where it was to, and then I can actually put that piece in there. I went and cut the fit right here. This is where it ends here and where it ends right here. And you can see that I put black marker on it and I scribed it with a scribe. Done the same thing down here. I have to clean this off since. But I've done the black marker on that as well, and I scribed it. And then I just cut them pieces out of it. I'm just going to let it overlap on over this over edge here. So I'll turn around and I'll get that all welded up. I welded that piece on there. You can see where I welded it to hold it in place. Then I went up here and I lined up this corner here and I welded it up here. And then I lined up this edge down here and welded up this edge here. I come out here and then I trimmed it up. Now it's a lot pretty high here. Now I'm going to take the ball peen hammer now and start hammering this corner down to try to get this to fall. Because right here is where it's tight. I got to stretch this area here for this here to fall back and for this here to fall back. So I'll go get the ball peen now, and I'm going to use the ball peen because the body hammer is just going to leave dents. The ball peen will actually round it out and make it and stretch it. So that's what I'm going to try to do here now. Well, that was fun to do. The seam is all the same up here. All that straightened away. It's got the shape of it that it needs to be on the inside edge. In here now, it's a butt weld here, overlap down here, and then there's a butt weld up here. I went and welded it onto the track here. I cleaned all that off. The inner brace is still there. The only thing I forgot to do is I forgot to put one of them holes right here. That's it. Live with it. But I'm going to clean that up there now. See what it looks like. Nice shape. You look across there. It all flows to the inside one. It flows around the corner here. Right here, there's a nice crisp edge. This is the stuff I'm always looking for. It's right there. Them spots there. They're the spots what always cause you nightmare doing bodywork. This stuff out here, joke. Okay? Down here, same thing. Nice straight line along here. Not a high spot this way, not a high spot this way here. That flows along here. All this out here can be all blended. It's just these very tight edges. They're the ones that you always got to be crucial with. This stuff out here, this is all overlapped out here, all the way along here, and partially the way right there is an overlap. That's fine. I can blend all that in. This inner stuff is not. And this is what it looks like on the inside. I cleaned all this off down here. I cleaned these off here nice and flush because I welded that on there. The original clip is still there. I'm missing the clip there where that would go. I don't think I got outer ones for this anyway, but that's fine. I'm not going to worry about that. I got the inner ones. That's the main one. So now that I got that done, the one more thing I want to do to this door, and that's these mirrors. Now, on a lot of these old rigs, the mirrors, they just screwed onto the panels, and there was always an issue with pulling panels here when the vibration of the mirror and stuff like that. This would always crack. Now, there was filler on this here, and I have to grind it off. It was after cracking. You can see it's been damaged, done to it before, and the holes are gone thin, all that type of stuff. What I'm going to do with this here now is I made this. This is just a piece of scrap steel. Okay? It's like a little C-channel type unit that I made up out of a bit of 18 gauge that I had over there on the bench. And this is going to be mounted on the back side of that there, like so. And it's going to be spot welded from the outside here in a few spots. And that's just going to be hung there. So now when I goes to screw a mirror back on it again, I'm not drilling into this thin metal. I got this 18 gauge, which is probably pretty thick stuff, to actually mount the screw to when I goes to put it in. So I'm going to go ahead now and position this, get this figured out, and drill a few holes in here, just so I can actually plug weld this in place. I'm going to weld up these holes again over the top of these, use them as plug welds, because I'm going to say I might move the mirror forward or back a small bit. It doesn't matter. If I got to drill through the spot welds, this is it. That's all I can do. Let's get this welded on. So, I have a bunch of holes drilled here, and I made the actual original ones a little bit bigger. I had a little rust hole here and a little rust hole here, so I turned them into spot welds. I drilled them out. I went and marked my 4 corners. Got another hole up there. Look, gotta weld that up. Just noticed that. It's not one thing, it's another. Anyway, what I did is I turned around and I positioned this on the outside here first. And I marked the center line of these 2 here holes here. So then I lined up. So now I got a marked line in behind it. I put it in behind it, marked all the spot welds, grind them off. But I put the line back through here. So now when I goes putting this back in place here, I'll line up the marker here and the marker here. That makes sure, because you can't see what way this is in there. If it's like this or it was like that. But now that I got them markers, they're going to line up in the center of that there, and that'll put me right in the middle of where I want it to be. So I'll go ahead now, get that clamped in place. Now I got the piece clamped in place, and you can see right here, you can see the marker. That lines right up through the hole there, and lines right up through the hole here. So I know that the piece in behind here now is squared where I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead now and start welding all these up one by one. I got to clamp it up higher here, bring it in some more. But I'll get that. I'll get these ones here that I can get now and get them welded up. Well, I got them all welded up. Over here, this is what I talked about before. If the metal's not strong enough, the welder's going to burn it away. Over here, this has been all damaged over here. There was a small hole here I welded up. When I started welding up the little plug well I had there, all this side here was all weak. And I just kept going and going and going. And I ended up all the way over to here before I found any solid metal for the weld to. And it just kept blowing holes, is all I kept doing. But you're going to run into this on old cars. Don't get discouraged by it. It's just part of the process. I find it comes right at the very end, the very last of whatever you're doing. You go back and you'll say, well, there's a little spot there, and then you're chasing it up halfway across the car. I've done this a lot of times. This has to happen to me a few times on the Toyota when I was building Krusty. It's after happened a couple of times on this one, but not as much as I expected it to happen. But right here, now this has after been worked enough times now to know that there's a problem with it. So in this area here, I don't know if there's any old holes running up inside here because it seems all pretty weak. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to grind this up and be done with it, and then I'll fill all that. I can't go getting in too deep into this truck to dig into it. Everywhere I digs into, filler, 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 filler. So this whole door has been skimmed. That was the thing we done back in the day to get cars straight. We skimmed the entire door. We never had proper panels. We were working with factory style panels. We never had aftermarket. We never had all of the high-tech sheet metal that the boys got today and stuff like that. And on top of all that, where we're getting paid nothing to do it, and a case of this white filler back in the day, I think was $32 for 4 gallons. So you'd be the judge of that. And sandpaper was cheap too. We could actually fill a car, top to bottom, make it look straight as a whip. And and you know, it never costs you nothing. But by today's standards, it's nobody likes this filler work anymore, right? I just look at the whole point of it. This is over 40 years old, this filler work, okay? This truck was left out in the weather. This was out for close to 25 years, left out in a yard. That's the reason why everything rusted out up here. But all the filler work is still holding up on this truck. So there's something to be said about it. It's not the nicest looking thing you ever want to see, but back in the day, car shows were done this way. Anyway, get that cleaned up. And I just grinded it all up. You can see the weakness up here. There's damage in that up here. So I don't know what was on this. Might have had bigger mirrors on it at one point, and they probably put smaller mirrors on it, and this was probably a hole or something here. But no, I'm not going digging into it because I'm just going to fall down the rabbit hole if I do. But I got all them straightened away. I got a heavy duty plate on the back side of that there now. So I got lots of strength there to go put a mirror back there. Also in here I found a little spot. This here was actually let go. I had to run a bead on that. But that is now, the driver's door is complete. So I got driver's door done, 2 front fenders, and the hood. So we got a lot done on this one. Got the hood all straightened away, bunch of holes welded up, pieces welded in them. Got the 2 front fenders done, all the rust cleared off, 2 bottoms put in the fenders. Over here. Got the dent repaired. Over on this side here, then we went ahead and we put a bottom in this door. Got that all straightened away, new door skin, corner put in it. Come up here and repaired the rust here. Stripped down the door because we got to take had to take the glass and everything out of it because I got to repair the vent window and I had to take the glass out of it to weld this up. Then I went and done a reinforcement on the inside of this panel here so I can actually screw a mirror back onto it again when it comes time. Yeah, covered a lot in this one. I was hoping to get it all done. I wants to get this door done. But I got way too many files now to do this video. This one here, all I got left to do now, I got to do the door bottom here, the same repair here on this side. There might be a hole or something right here. This vent window seems to be pretty good. I might be leaving it alone. I got to take it out anyway because I got to take the glass out to weld that up. All right. But yep, she's coming along. She's getting there. I'm slowly but surely getting through it. I figured you might have found that door bottom interesting. All the holes were welded up on the front of it. Badge be gone. That's all gone now for now. Anyway, this is where we're going to leave this one. I hope the tips are good. And until next time. Over the night, the icebergs after moving closer. You can see it's all starting to break up here. Well, beautiful day today, very calm. It is cold. They bring cold weather with you. When they come down every spring, you'll feel the actual cold. She's after moving right across the bay. I'm willing to say now, standing here looking out across that's probably 3/4 of a mile to a mile off the shoreline here.